Here's a segment from a recent Gun Talk radio episode. You can listen to all the Gun Talk radio podcasts however you tune in, or check out guntalk.com for more. First up, one of the things I want to talk about, and I've been really wanting to cover this for quite a while, and you may know the history. Remington is the oldest gun maker in America. Then they had their problems. They were bought out by some Wall Street fat cats, and they basically screwed it up, predictably. But out of that, we have, the new Remington, or if you will, RemArms. We're joined right now by Jeff Galloway from the product manager side of things. Jeff, welcome.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate you having me.
You bet. So it's a new company. It's not Remington. It is RemArms, right?
Well, we're still Remington Firearms, still manufacturing the 870, which we've been doing since 1950. So we've just picked up where they left off there after the bankruptcy. So still supporting a lot of the historical products like that, 870, 700s. But our main focus is, of course, the new products going forward.
Okay, so you are supporting the old the products that were made before. That's good news.
Yes, sir. So, I mean, any of our components, like, for example, like our 870 Fieldmaster that we manufacture today could interchange simply with an 870 12 gauge from 1950.
Talk about iconic firearms. The Remington 870 and the Remington 700 are two that just pop up. It's like, these are the standards by which everything else is measured. I mean, how many times have you heard people say, yeah, that's a good gun, but is it as good as an 870? Is it as good as a 700? It's nice to be the standard, isn't it?
Yes, sir. And especially footprint for many actions out there already on the bolt action field. So.
Well, I've been watching that. It's kind of interesting to see people are making a lot more expensive actions on the 700 footprint. And I mean, you can pay $2,000 for the action for that. I'm thinking, yeah, but now you can actually go buy a 700 for less than that. And here's where I'm going to hand it off to you. Talk about what you have done. Let's start with the 700, the iconic bolt-action rifle. What have you done to that in terms of improvements?
Yeah, I mean, the major improvement, of course, across the board is going to 5R barrels and now our partnership with Timney Triggers.
Right.
So you've got a consistent trigger pull. And as you know, I mean, most people will tell you, a gun can be judged pretty heavily on that trigger.
Let's go back. What is 5R rifling?
So 5R rifling is actually an improved rifling to actually modernize the performance of some of today's ammunition. So you've got less bullet deformation with the angle of the rifling versus the standard, rifling cut that we've had in the past. Okay, so what's that do for the shooter? Essentially, it maximizes the performance of, say, like a newer bullet, like some of the ballistic points that you see today from either Remington or Hornady or some of those other major manufacturers.
Better accuracy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How about twist rates?
Twist rates definitely have improved. Most of them there are stabilizing some of the standard weights that you see out there today.
And well, I'm going to ask I have to ask the standard question is, are you making a left-handed version yet?
No, we are not.
Is that in the plans?
If we get enough orders, you better believe it.
Okay, because, I mean, that's always been one of the things. I shoot from the left side. Right-handed, left-eye dominant, like an awful lot of shooters and hunters. And that's always been one of the... I'm with you there, Tom. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Those of us who are... At first, people say, well, that's weird. I say, actually, no. If you start checking people, in my estimation, I think roughly 35% of shooters are left-eye dominant. Now, a lot of them shoot right-handed, and a lot of them who shoot from the left shoulder shoot right-hand bolt actions. But, man, it'd be great to have at least some selection of left-handed bolts in the 700 platform.
Yes, sir. And we definitely will leave that open. Okay. To the consumer.
All right. So run through, you got all these different, and for people who want to follow along, you can go to remarms.com, REMARMS, remarms.com. Some of the variations in the 700 line. We'll start with that.
Yes, sir. So starting from the top, our 700 Alpha 1 Hunter, which features, of course, the Timney Elite Hunter trigger assemblies, which have the straight trigger. And then you've got the historical products, the BDL, which have the rifle sights, Monte Carlo stock, and then the CDL versions, also offering CDL stainless fluted. And then we get down into some of the synthetic type versions like the SPSs and even Magpul enhanced models, Sendero stainless fluted. Even our long range is one of our newer models there with the new HS Precision stock.
Oh.
And that's something that we're very excited about.
And then you got the 783. What is that?
The 783 is more of that mid-tier rifle there, so it gives you that value at high levels performance, what you're looking for, steel detachable magazine. I mean, right out of the box accuracy, what you're looking for, especially for someone that's going out there and only hunting a few times.
Right. And you said I got to ask about the muzzle loader because you're pretty happy about that.
Yes, sir. That ultimate muzzle loader, we actually just updated the synthetic version to the HES Precision stock as well. And that image is up on the site. So definitely I invite you to come and take a look at that.
So and now we'll bounce down to the shotguns because people think of the 870, but that's not all you're doing.
Right. The 870 is, of course, I mean, it's really a cornerstone for pump shotguns, in my opinion. It's
Sure.
really, I mean, there's not any other one that can compare, in my opinion, as far as what you're looking for, quality and product and historical. I mean, that's it.
Well, 11 million of them have been built.
Yes, sir. More than that now.
Crazy.
But newer shotguns, our V3 Pro is definitely kicking off there in the turkey as well as the waterfowl, getting into the season coming up here later on.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also going to have offering the black version as well in the standard Field Pro.
Okay.
So that all features enlarged feed controls, safety control. You also have the 3-position carry on those, which allows you to have a mag 2 block and also move the carry out of the way to easy load there, especially if you got a mag, a gloved hand. So great features on that one. And also doesn't even have action springs in the back. So that allowed us to do the TAC 13 model. So that's one of the softest shooting home defense firearms I think that's out there, to be honest with you.
Explain the 3-position carrier. What is that about?
So the 3-position carrier is right there on the trigger plate assembly where you're loading. It's just a little mag 2 block, little switch button that you press forward to engage it. Once you do that, the rounds won't feed out of the mag tube. Then you can disengage it and push that carrier all the way up and push it back forward. And then that is very easy to start loading that mag tube because I know a lot of times people get their thumb pinched in the the feed latch because I mean, like you, when you're out there waterfowl hunting, I mean, especially when it has some gloved hands there, and
Sure.
A lot of times that glove will get stuck up in there, and then you end up ghost loading around. That's terrible. You end up disassembling your gun right there and in the field. And that's
you got the thumb of your glove stuck up in there. Not that I've ever done anything like that, right?
You're right, yes, sir. And then your buddies are just tearing it up right next to you. It's like, oh man.
Now
so that definitely tears you up.
Is this a feature that allows you to? You're set up for ducks, and all of a sudden you got geese coming in. You want to just put one goose load in there as quickly as you can. Is that something you can do that? That's what that's about.
You sure can. Yes, sir. So you still can fire that one shot and then load another round in there and throw that one round in, that goose round, you're ready to go.
There you go. Hey, Jeff, hold on a second here. I'm going to take a quick break here. When we come back, I want to talk about kind of what's going on overall with RemArms, where you're located, because people know, the old Remington, but there are a lot of changes going on, and we need to update people on that as well. This is Gun Talk. We're talking with Jeff Galloway from RemArms. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. Tom Gresham here. It's Gun Talk. We're talking with Jeff Galloway from RemArms. It's the new Remington, if you will, and we've been talking about some of the products. But, Jeff, I want to talk a little bit about where you guys are actually located, because you have multiple facilities these days.
Yes, sir. Still operating out of Ely, New York. Our some of our legacy products are still being manufactured out of there. Most of our shotguns, all of our shotguns, really. Mm-hmm. But our centerfire lines moved down to LaGrange, Georgia, where our headquarters is. So we're operating out of there now.
I'll be darned. Now, that's a fairly new facility, isn't it?
It is, yes, sir. Just opened here this past year.
All right. So where do we go from here with Remington? I mean, you got this classic name. I'm just going to throw this out. From what I can see, this is the question I know you've heard all the time. Are they as good as the old Remingtons? And my answer is no, they're not. They're actually better because we got more modern materials. We've got better manufacturing. We've got CNC, which we didn't have before.
You're spot on, Tom. I mean, you think about some of those manufacturing processes. I mean, all of our 700s now are 100% CNC'd. Everything spore scoped. You get an action now that's down to 1,000ths of an inch. You're essentially getting a blueprinted action. I mean, we couldn't even say that before. So we've definitely improved from, what we left before that bankruptcy to what they originally started with. So it's amazing where we are now.
I guess the real question is, like on the 700, that's always been the standard when you wanted to buy an accurate rifle. So how do they shoot now?
They shoot unbelievably. I mean, I'll let them speak for themselves. So definitely go out there and check out your local stores.
Historically, Remington used to do like a classic, and they would bring out a limited run each year. Any thought of doing things like that in the future?
That's always open, yes, sir. We always look at some of the newer calibers coming out there, even some of the straight wall cartridges stuff. So, you get a huge demand in that. But that's offered across the board, not only in our 700 platform.
Right, and of course, there some distributors will do limited run, special things like that. And I guess where I'm going with this is, how geared up are you after the bankruptcy? I mean, are you at full capacity and running now, or are we still gearing up?
Not yet. Still getting there to where we'd like to be. We're more of a compact, smaller size company than what we were before. You think about what we were before, we were a huge giant. I mean, it was insane. It was almost hard to keep tabs on what you were doing, especially on the quality side. So now we can hyper focus in on what we need, which is Remington Firearms.
Well, then that goes to the question. People say that's all well and good, but can I find them in the stores?
Yes, you still can. Yes, sir. We're still manufacturing them every single day.
Okay, so where do we go from here? I mean, we've got the classics, we've got the 700, we've got the 870. Is there discussion? Is there even a need, I guess, for a new or improved bolt action rifle?
Alpha 100 right now is our top of the line. I don't foresee anything really topping that, in the near future, that's for sure. But we're always open to any type of new technology or key feature upgrades. So, and that could include, for example, like the Alpha 100 or maybe even some of our other models. I mean, we are looking at simple things, across the board on stuff. I mean, like we did with the partnership with Timney Trigger. So there's definitely things that, you go back and you look at things and it's like, well, yeah, we definitely should be doing that, right?
Well, and I would direct people to that Alpha 1. We kind of went through that quickly, but the Alpha 1 is really, like you said, let's take the 700 and reinvent it. Because there's so much new and different in it, it's almost like it's a different rifle.
It is. I mean, for example, starting off with the toolless bolt disassembly.
Right.
You don't need a tool to disassemble the firing pin assembly from the bolt body. You've got, enlarged magazine there for people that like to reload, beyond sometimes those case limits,
right.
As far as length goes. So it definitely allows you to do things. External bolt release. I mean, that's a huge one right there. So you go away from that bolt release right there in front of the trigger to right there on the side of the receiver. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot more robust.
Sounds good. And obviously you still got your law enforcement and your home defense line, the 870s and probably some other things.
We do, yeah. I mean, we're close to more than 200 SKUs. So Jeez. As far as total products that we've got across the board, including our LEs and international that we're starting to work out.
Jeff Galloway from RemArms. Thank you so much. RemArms.com, obviously. Hey, let's go do some shooting somewhere.
Yes, sir, Tom.
All righty. You take care. Appreciate that.